All right, so have you ever caught yourself daydreaming at work, about starting your own business, like being your own boss, calling the shots?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it's pretty common.
Well, today we're diving into The 7-Day Startup by Dan Norris. And this book basically throws that whole spend months planning idea right out the window.
It kind of throws it out the window.
He's like, launch first, figure it out as you go.
Yeah, it's a pretty refreshing approach.
Right.
I mean, in the business world, like things change so fast you can't really predict everything.
Right. And he actually calls it extreme uncertainty,
Yeah.
which I think is a really good way to put it. When you're launching a startup, you really don't know what's going to happen.
It's true. You can't predict everything.
And you can't plan for everything.
Exactly.
So instead of getting paralyzed by that fear, Norris is saying, embrace it.
Yeah, just jump in.
Yeah, take action and learn as you go.
That's where the real learning happens, right? When you're actually out there doing it.
Totally. And he argues that the best feedback that you can get is from real customers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can sit in your room and think that you have the best idea,
For months and months.
but until you put it out there,
Yeah, you're just guessing.
you really are just guessing.
You got to test it in the real world.
It's like that saying, ready, fire, aim.
Exactly.
Although I feel like Norris would add on and then constantly adjust your aim.
Adjust and adjust.
Right. It's a constant process.
It never stops.
So speaking of action, the book also talks about this idea of hustle.
Everyone's favorite word.
Right.
Hustle, hustle, hustle.
But he's not talking about the burn yourself out work 80 hours a week kind of hustle.
No, no, no.
He's very specific about the type of hustle.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Right, exactly. It's about focusing your energy on the activities that actually make a difference in your business.
The things that move the needle.
Yes, and he hates vanity metrics.
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes those.
It's so easy to get caught up in like, oh, look at my Instagram followers, or look how much traffic my website's getting.
But are those people actually buying anything?
Exactly.
That's the real question.
Those things don't always translate to paying customers.
Nope.
Which is what we all want at the end of the day, right?
That's the goal.
So work smarter, not harder, and focus on the things that are actually going to bring in the revenue.
Revenue is king.
There you go. But even when you've got people interested, Norris cautions against mistaking validation for a viable business.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
So what does he mean by that?
Okay, so let's say you have this amazing idea for a new app, right? You tell all your friends, you tell your family, everybody's like, this is genius. You're going to be a millionaire,
I'm going to invest.
right? You might even get some early signups, but that initial excitement, it doesn't always last.
It's not a guarantee of long-term success.
Unfortunately not.
So how do you separate those early cheers from what's actually going to be a good business?
That's where his 9 elements of a bootstrap business idea come in.
Oh, here we go.
This is the good stuff.
This is where it gets good.
It's like a framework you can use to look at your idea and see if it actually has what it takes to become a real business.
So let's break it down. Let's get into it because this
Yeah.
is where it gets really practical for anyone listening
Absolutely. Let's do it.
who's thinking about maybe they have a side hustle or they want to start something new.
All right, so element number 1,
Hit me.
solves a problem you're passionate about.
Okay.
This is huge because starting a business is not easy.
It's not for the faint of heart.
You're going to face challenges.
Yeah.
You're going to want to quit. You need that fire in your belly to keep you going.
Need that passion.
Exactly.
You have to be excited to work on this every day.
Every single day.
Okay, so passion is important, but obviously that's not enough.
Passion will only get you so far.
What else do we need to think about?
All right, element number 2, targets a specific niche.
Okay.
Now, this is something a lot of people get wrong.
Really?
They try to be everything to everyone,
Oh.
and it just doesn't work
Why not?
because you end up spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah.
Your message is confusing, and you're not really resonating with anyone.
It's like you're shouting into the void.
Exactly.
And no one can hear you because you're trying to reach everybody.
Right, you got to focus your energy on a smaller group of people who have a very specific need.
So find your people. Find your tribe.
Exactly. And when you do that, your marketing becomes so much more effective.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can tailor your message, you can build strong brand identity,
Right.
and you're more likely to attract loyal customers.
Oh, wow. This is already making me rethink some of my own side hustle ideas.
It's a game changer.
It is a game changer. So you've got a problem you're passionate about. You found your target audience.
We're on a roll.
What's next?
Norris also talks about enjoyable daily tasks.
Okay, so this is important.
This is huge because you don't want to dread going to work every day, right?
Right.
If you hate the day-to-day tasks of your business, it's not going to be
It's
sustainable.
going to burn you out.
Exactly. So choose an idea that you're actually going to enjoy working on, something that plays to your strengths and your interests.
Find a way to make it fun.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're passionate, you've got your people, and you actually enjoy the work.
We're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere now.
Now we got to talk about building a business that can actually thrive. And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so we're back, and we're really getting into it with these 9 elements of a bootstrapped business idea.
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road.
It really is. This is like the checklist for anyone who's actually thinking about taking that leap.
Ditching the day job.
Exactly, and building something for themselves.
And one of the key things that Norris emphasizes is building a business that can actually run without you.
Okay.
He calls it operates profitably without the founder.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it's so important.
But it's important because if the goal is freedom,
Exactly.
you don't want to create another job for yourself that you're chained to.
You don't want to be tied to your laptop 24/7.
Right. You want to be able to go on vacation and have the business still making money.
Passive income, baby.
There you go.
That's the dream.
So it's not just about being passionate about the work, which obviously we talked about.
Right.
But it's also about designing a business that gives you the freedom and flexibility that you're looking for.
Freedom and flexibility. Those are the key words.
Okay. So how do we actually do that?
Well, that's where things like systems and processes come in.
Okay.
Automation. Thinking about how you can streamline your business so it's not all on you.
So you're not the bottleneck.
Exactly. You want to be able to step away and have things still run smoothly.
That's the goal. All right. So what else do we need to consider when we're building this amazing business?
Well, Norris also talks about having a clear marketing plan that doesn't depend on you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because it's not enough to just have a great product or service, right?
Right.
You got to be able to get it in front of people.
You got to tell people about it.
You got to shout it from the rooftops.
But this is where I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, especially new entrepreneurs, they get stuck.
They spend all their time building the thing.
They put their heart and soul into this product.
And then they launch it and crickets.
Crickets, nobody's buying it.
Because they didn't think about marketing?
Because they thought, oh, if I build it, they will come.
Yeah, the old field of dreams strategy.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work in baseball. Doesn't work in business.
So how do we crack the code? What's Norris's take on marketing?
Well, he's a big believer in having a multi-pronged approach.
Okay, so not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. You got to diversify your marketing effort.
So what are some examples?
So we're talking content marketing, social media, email lists, collaborations, maybe even some paid advertising.
Okay, so there's a lot of different avenues you can explore.
Absolutely. And the key is to experiment and find what works best for your specific business and your target audience.
So it's not one size fits all.
Definitely not.
You got to find what works for you.
And be willing to adapt, because the marketing landscape is constantly changing.
Always changing.
What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow.
So true. Okay, we've got our marketing plan in place. What's next on Norris's list?
This one's all about the money, honey.
Hit me.
He calls it generates recurring revenue.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
So instead of chasing after one-time sales,
Right.
you're building a business that brings in a consistent and predictable income stream.
So it's like that steady paycheck.
Kind of, but even better.
How so?
Because you have more control. You're not relying on someone else to give you a raise or a promotion.
You're in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are in control of your own destiny.
I love it. Okay, so recurring revenue, what are some ways that people can actually build that into their business model?
We'll think subscriptions,
Wow.
memberships, even just having customers who come back again and again.
So it's about building those long-term relationships.
Exactly. Loyalty. That's the key.
Because it's so much easier to sell to an existing customer.
Than it is to constantly be out there hunting for new ones.
100%. Okay, so we're building this amazing business. It's got recurring revenue. We've got our marketing plan. What else is there?
All right, well, now we got to talk about the minimum viable product.
The MVP.
The MVP.
We hear this term thrown around a lot.
All the time.
But what does it actually mean in practice?
So Norris's take on the MVP is that it's not about launching a half-baked product.
Okay.
It's about identifying the core value that you offer and delivering it in the simplest, most effective way possible.
So strip away all the bells and whistles.
Exactly. Focus on the bare minimum that you need to solve the problem for your customer.
And get it out there quickly.
Exactly. Speed is key.
Why is speed so important?
Because the faster you get your product or service in front of real customers, the faster you can start getting feedback.
And that feedback loop is crucial.
Absolutely, because it allows you to make informed decisions about your product development.
So you're not just guessing.
You're not wasting time and money building things that nobody wants.
You're building what people actually want and are willing to pay for.
Exactly. It's all about validation.
So the lean startup approach, it's all about speed agility, getting your idea out there, learning from the market, and adapting quickly.
Exactly. It's a continuous process of iteration and improvement.
And that brings us to Norris's 7-day challenge.
7 days from idea to launch.
Can it actually be done?
Well, that's what we're going to find out in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we talked about finding that perfect idea that solves a problem, building a business that can practically run itself. But how do we actually get it out there?
Well, that's where the 7-day challenge comes in, right?
7 days from idea to launch, like, is that really possible?
It sounds crazy, right?
It sounds a little out there.
But Norris makes a really good point about, like, the longer you wait,
Okay.
the more likely you are to get bogged down in the details.
You start to second guess yourself?
You overthink everything, you get stuck in that perfectionism trap.
And nothing ever gets launched.
Exactly.
So it's better to just get it out there.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Embrace the messiness.
Exactly. And that's what this 7-day challenge is all about. It's about taking action, building momentum, proving to yourself that you can do it.
I love that. So walk me through it. What are the actual steps involved in this 7-day challenge?
All right, so day 1 is all about nailing down your idea.
Okay.
Really validating it, making sure it's a good one.
So doing your research,
Exactly.
making sure there's a market for it.
Exactly. And then day 2 is all about crafting your sales message, figuring out how you're going to communicate the value of your product or service to your target audience.
So how are you going to reach those people?
Right, because you got to be able to explain what you're offering in a way that's clear, concise, and compelling.
And then day 3 is where you actually start building something tangible.
Yes. Day 3 is all about creating your landing page.
That's like your online storefront.
Exactly. It's the first thing people see when they learn about your business, so it's got to make a good impression.
It's got to be good.
And then day 4, you start getting into the nitty-gritty of how you're actually going to deliver your product or service.
So setting up the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, like if you're selling a physical product, you got to figure out shipping and handling. If it's a digital product, maybe you're setting up payment processing.
All the logistics.
Exactly. And then day 5, that's where the fun begins, because that's when you start planning your launch content.
Ooh, the marketing.
Yeah, getting the word out there on social media, writing some compelling emails, maybe even reaching out to some influencers in your niche.
So you're building some buzz, getting people excited about your launch.
Exactly. You want to hit the ground running.
I love it. All right, so we're 5 days in. The energy is high. What happens on day 6?
Day 6 is the big day. It's launch day.
You finally get to share your creation with the world.
All that hard work pays off. You hit that publish button and you're live.
That's so exciting.
It's a huge adrenaline rush.
I bet.
And then day 7 is all about taking a step back, reflecting on the process, analyzing your results, and planning your next moves.
So it doesn't end with the launch.
It's just the beginning.
It's the beginning of the journey.
Exactly. It's a continuous process of iteration and improvement.
That's what I love about the entrepreneurial journey. It's never boring.
Never a dull moment.
And that's really what Dan Norris's book, The 7-Day Startup, is all about. It's about taking action, embracing the unknown, and not being afraid to learn as you go.
It's about having that entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly. And you know what Norris says? You should be more excited about Monday than Friday.
That's a good sign.
If you're not there yet, maybe it's time to shake things up.
Maybe try something new.
Take a risk.
Start that side hustle.
You never know where it might lead.
Exactly. And that's a wrap for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.